So you want to make an impact. You're thinking about starting a business, sharing your voice. How do women do it that handle motherhood, family, and still chase after those dreams? Well, listen each week as we dive into the stories of women who know. This is Call Me CEO. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Call Me CEO. And I don't know about you, but every now and again, if not daily, there are moments in my life where I feel stuck and I need help moving forward, knowing how to create momentum when perhaps I don't have any. And today's guest, Michelle Wolfe, is the expert in knowing how to move forward when you're feeling stuck or you've gone through hard things. And she may laugh in me saying she's the expert, but it's something she talks about a lot on her own podcast, the MUVE Forward podcast, which is spelled MUVE if you're searching for it. And I'm so excited to have you with us here today, Michelle.
Oh, I'm so excited to chat with you. I love talking, obviously, having my own podcast. So this will be wonderful.
Yeah, take us back. I know you're in Canada and you are a stepmom. So I think that both of those things are not something I hear or talk to every day. Someone in Canada, I love Canadians. And stepmotherhood has its own batch of unique opportunities as well. So tell us about yourself, how you got started in building your podcast and helping people move through emotional stops.
I love that. Yes, I'm excited to chat all the things. So the podcast really started about, I think it was 2018. It was actually a really, really traumatic year. I had a nephew who passed away. I had my stepdaughter, her mom had passed away. My sister's house burned down. I had some health stuff. It was just like, when you have one of those years where it's just like disaster after disaster. And I remember having moments where I was just so tired, so drained, so sad. I would wake up just crying. And every morning I would tell myself to put on a song. And it was always a sad song at that moment, but I would literally just sway side to side in my living room, allowing my body to just cry. And I love sharing that story because that's the way that I learned how to move forward and to be able to actually have one day, there be a day where I woke up and I put on a happy song and I was able to actually move with a little bit more pep in my step. Because there were so many days where it was just tears, 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 tears. And along that journey and along that year, I also just thought about one of the other really great ways that I know how to move forward, and that is by helping other people. I've always been somebody who loves helping other people. I'm a registered massage therapist. I've always been the person who calls up people and says hey, what do you need help with? What are you doing this weekend? Let me help out. And so I somehow got connected with a man who had Guillain-Barré syndrome. And I ended up helping him be able to learn how to walk again. It was an interesting thing. I was his wife's massage therapist, and she calls me up when he had this. And yeah, I noticed that he could probably walk again, even though his doctor said he couldn't. So I helped him through that journey. And throughout the year, he learned how to walk again. So I decided to start this podcast because I knew how powerful it is to help people in this way and how I was able to feel better every time that I saw him improving. And so I started the podcast to be able to share wonderful stories about other people who have overcome their challenges. And so here we are today with the podcast. It's been going on for now 4 years or so. And it's been quite the journey. It's been quite the journey.
Wow. You just unpacked so many things there. That a house burned down, you had family that died, a friend, someone's not walking. This is life. These are life things, but wow, that is incredibly devastating. I mean, and what I love about your process is that you incorporated movement and music into your healing. And that I would guess as a massage therapist, you are an empath. Am I right in thinking that you can feel energies and people and be able to heal in that way? And that is such an incredible gift to be able to tune into that. And what good timing to start it in 2018, 2019 before the pandemic hit, because the whole world was about to go through something incredibly traumatic. Did you find that was a time that you received more interest in your podcast, or how did that season or that arc change as you went into that time of our lives with the pandemic?
Yeah, I definitely saw more interest. And I also want to say that I had so much growth because of the podcast. So it just really sparked my interest to learning about people's stories and learning about my own self-help, that I got to a point then with the pandemic where I was like, wow, if I didn't start this podcast and learn everything, all this self-development that I have learned over the past couple of years, I don't know if I would have been able to survive this. And that's when I became a full-time stepmom as well. During the pandemic, we made the choice to sell my condo and move in with my partner. My daughter, she had recently lost her mom from cancer. And so we made that choice. And honestly, I truly believe that the podcast, as much as it's to help other people, it's also so rewarding for myself, because you grow when you learn, when you hear these impactful conversations. And I'm sure you can relate how each story you hear, even people who are listening, you grow a little bit, you learn a little bit, and you improve your own self-development in some way when you're listening and hearing about each person's individual story.
Absolutely. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the story of Michelle's, could you please share with us? You mentioned that you have a stepdaughter now whose mother passed away, and that you have a personal connection to the disease that her mother passed away from as well. Can you share a bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. My whole like health and wellness journey really started when I was 8, when my own mom passed away from cancer. And so it's really interesting, because I lived my life just thinking that I was this strong girl who got through it and I had no issues. And then, 30 something years later, I have a stepdaughter who now has lost her mom from a very similar cancer. And she's 7 years old when she lost her mom. And so it's been quite a journey, really diving into how to help her, especially because I never had a stepmom that was involved in my life. And so as much as I had family and friends, it's not the same as a mother figure. And so now I'm figuring out that I was alone all the time. I didn't have anybody to help me through any major life moment. I was alone. And I never thought I had a problem until now I see my stepdaughter. And I started having these moments like once or twice a month where I would kind of lose it. Like I would start to get angry. And like, even with her, I would have a lot of jealousy almost. Like I would have feelings of like, you're a spoiled little brat, but that's not me. Like I would never want to think that of somebody, or especially of my daughter. Like I love her so much, but I kept having these thoughts in my head. And I was like, why is this happening? So I've actually started doing trauma therapy, which has been life-changing. And again, it comes back to really just like hearing about other people who have gone through it and who have healed, who have done therapy, and how that has helped them. It makes it more comfortable knowing that other people are doing it too. And that like, it's such a beautiful thing when you can process those traumas to be able to live better. And I will tell you, our relationship was way stronger. It has completely transformed everything. And I feel like I am totally going in so many spaces here because I have so much to share with you.